I've been on YouTube now for a year, and I want to talk about how YouTube has changed my life, the pros and the cons, and some things that I've learned even being under 200 subscribers. Before I got on YouTube, I really just watched YouTube, and I used it as a form of kind of entertainment and where I would learn everything. And for a long time, for years, I guess I thought about, trying to be on YouTube as a creator. But I never really gave it much thought other than that, because I never really thought that I had anything to offer, any kind of expertise in a field or anything that I could share that people would actually care about. So I really just watched YouTube content, and the more I watched it, the more I saw people actually making a living on YouTube, and not just doing it for fun or just doing it on the side, but it looked like people were actually making good businesses, good income on YouTube, enough to quit their jobs. And I heard people talking about that, the income that they would make from not just AdSense, but other ways that they would generate income on YouTube. And it always intrigued me, especially these last few years where I've been studying more about business. Now, I have a 9-to-5 job, but in order to see kind of what they're doing, I wanted to look deeper into it. So I started looking more at what these creators were doing behind the scenes, and how, what their links went to, and where they were generating income from. So the curiosity started to get the best of me, and I had to know if this was something that I could do. Is this something that is just for certain types of people, or can anybody like me jump into this and figure it out and see if I can make it work at all? Before I started this, I knew that it had to be something that was going to be long-term. This wasn't something that I could just kind of dabble in for a couple months and give up on. I knew that this was going to have to be at least 1 year and probably 2 or 3 years for me to even try this out. And I knew it was going to have to be something that I would have to learn a bunch of skills at. This wasn't something that just came natural. I don't think it does for anybody. It might for a couple people, but certainly not for me. So if I was going to do this, it had to be dedicated to a long-term goal. I had to look at, am I willing to trade this time, these couple years at least, in order for an opportunity to make something bigger happen in my life? And when I look at it that way, I would rather have tried this and failed within a couple years and just known already that this wasn't something that was for me. Or the other option was to never try and then always wonder, and I didn't want that to be the case. So I decided to commit to it. I'd rather do the commitment and not have that fear for who knows how long of what could have been. When I committed, it was at least a 2-year commitment. I'm halfway through right now, and I've had a lot of struggles. It's changed me in a lot of ways. And so first I'll talk about some of the negative things that I've experienced along the way, and then I'll give you the positive things. One of the most obvious things is the amount of time that it takes, and you have to learn everything. So when I started, I did a 30-day challenge so that I could get better at talking to the camera and get more comfortable with it. And I have come a long way, and that 30-day challenge did help a lot too. And it helped me to get some of the reps in for just the camera. So there's a lot of time in, preparing for shooting videos and for editing videos. So the time is really, you have to dedicate part of your day, or at least part of your week, and get on a schedule and do things that way. If you don't, then you kind of lose track of time, and before you know it, the next video is due and you're a couple days late, you're kind of running behind. And what I found is that the more that you can do in advance, the better that it's going to be for your time management. But you can't just put out a video and then watch how the video does and kind of dwell on that past video. You got to move on. You got to keep going. So there's a lot of learning to it. There's a lot of learning on every aspect of what you're doing, from being behind the camera to editing to scheduling to writing to titles to thumbnails, all kinds of stuff. And so it's it's a lot to learn, a lot to take on when you're first starting out. And there's no rule book. So nobody's going to tell you that you're doing it right or you're doing it wrong. I mean, you might get a comment here and there that gives you somewhat of some good advice, but you never know if it's good advice or not if you don't know anything about what you're doing. And so listening to comments blindly can also lead you astray. There's no real clear path on where you should go, how you should do it, what's good, what's bad, what's working, what's not. Are people connecting with you? Are they not? And I spent a lot of time, especially with AI being so new this last year, I spent a lot of time dealing with AI and what AI thinks I should do, which honestly, looking back, that was a lot of time wasted. And I think it set me back a long way on where I could be, instead of where I'm at right now, because I relied on it so much. Instead of just trying to develop my own thoughts and my own story and let me come out, I was letting some robot tell me, what I should say and all this. And it really kind of pushed me in the wrong direction for a long time. Listening to all the gurus out there was another thing that was really difficult for me, because the advice that you would get if you go online, you can find a lot of advice. A lot of YouTubers give advice on how to start YouTubes and what's worked for them. And what's worked for them might not necessarily work for you. So it's a difficult transition when you're trying to do one thing and you hear different advice. Sometimes people will steer you in a way that worked for them, but it's just not everybody's style is the same. So when you're developing your own style, you kind of have to try things on your own and see what's going to work, and try to tune out some of that stuff. Now there's really helpful information that, if you kind of just use your common sense on a lot of it, you'll start to figure out what's good and what's not. But out of all the negative things that I can think of that have impacted my life in a negative way, there's so many things that are positive to it. So many things that I've learned, so many challenges that I've overcome. When I started, it was such a difficult thing to even get on the camera and press record and just start talking. I would stutter over all of my words and I would use filler words, and I just couldn't get my thoughts together all the time. I'm still that way in a lot of ways, but I think I've come a long way in that sense too. So getting on camera and getting a lot more confident with the camera, I don't find it as awkward now to hear my own voice or see myself on camera anymore. I used to have a real big problem doing that at the beginning. So I've learned a lot of other things too by just doing stuff. I've learned kind of photo editing, and not in a great way, but I think in a way that's helpful to me if I want to use that for anything else. I've learned storytelling in a way where, before I wasn't able to communicate very well, and now I'm at a point where I think I at least understand story a lot better and can communicate a little bit better than I used to be able to. I'm not just babbling anymore, but kind of trying to have some transition in my thoughts and somewhere that I'm going with everything. So the other thing I have going for me right now is that I still have less than 200 subscribers. So right now, everything that I'm doing is still kind of a test bed. and I have a lot of room to play around. I can try different things if I want to, and I don't have to worry about losing subscribers or losing, you know, people that care about a certain aspect of what I'm doing in my videos. So I have a lot of room to play. I have a lot of room to experiment, and that's huge. I don't think a lot of people have that opportunity still. Once you start to get your base of people that came to you for a certain reason, they expect to see that same stuff going forward. So I'm going to use this opportunity. I still have another year that I have left in my commitment here to try different things and see what works for me and what doesn't work for me, and try to adapt to that. So hopefully I can find stuff out before people start to make me set in kind of the ways that I've got. Things have changed for me after starting YouTube. I could look at this as a failure and say, I've wasted this last year. I have less than 200 subscribers right now, and this was a complete waste of time. I should give up. But as far as I've gone, I feel like I have learned so much in such a short time. I mean, a year really passed by pretty quickly. I feel like I can take what I've learned and build on this now. And now I have this foundation to where I still feel like a beginner. I still feel like I'm starting brand new and I have a lot to learn. But I have this foundation that I've built now. And I put in the work to put that foundation there. So going forward, the way I look at things has changed. This has changed me in a dramatic way, really. Now I have hope that what I've started, I can continue to build on it. So this story for me, my own personal story in this, I don't look at this as a failure at all or giving up, or, I don't see this as, a point to just throw in the towel. I really feel like this is the beginning. So I want to give it another year at least, and maybe another 2 years. If I'm still here in a year at the same, maybe less than 500 subscribers, as long as I'm going in the right direction, I'm going to continue working on it. So I hope this is an encouragement to you. If you are thinking about YouTube, or you started YouTube and you don't have a lot of traction, I hope you can relate to this, and it seems, no matter where you're at in it, whether you've just started or you're a couple months in, that you got something out of this, and you can see that there's more to it. It's a learning process for everybody. For me, definitely. And some people learn faster than others. I think, where I'm at is a lot slower than a lot of other people. But I'm working on it, and I'm getting there, and I'm doing the work that I need to do. So I'm happy with it. And I'm happy to see where it goes. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.